I'm Alan Weiss, and this is The Writing on the Wall. Welcome back to The Writing on the Wall, episode 103. I call this Alan's Riff. A riff is sort of a stream of conscious set of comments, and sometimes when I'm doing things, people say, Alan, what do you think about? And off I go. I have great answers, often to questions no one asked me, but nonetheless, I'd like to share some riffing this morning. And I've made some notes here just to keep me on track and not go too far off the rails. My first is that as I look around, in my experience, we take freedom and liberty too blasely. We accept things as our right and our privilege that others sometimes never see. And so the beauties of this country, free speech and free assembly, and freedom of the press, freedom of religion, we accept as though they have always been here and everybody has them. But they haven't always been here and not everyone does have them. Creative tension among conflicting interest, isn't new, and it's important. We should not try to remove conflict, just as we shouldn't try to remove all stress. Eustress is the opposite of distress. It keeps the adrenaline flowing. It creates a sense of urgency. Well, the same with conflict. When you put it on the table and when you look at it and you examine it and you engage in it, you get some good minds arguing good issues, arriving at good solutions, often compromises, but good solutions. When I worked with Hewlett-Packard for years and years and years, they used to have a phrase called, let's put the dead rat on the table. And that is, there was an issue they weren't discussing. There was something they were avoiding, as often happens in discourse. And they'd finally say, let's put the dead rat on the table. We know it's under the table. We need to deal with it. Creative tension is good. Schrumpter called innovation creative destruction. Self-critique and introspection require great confidence. People, and that's plural, individuals or peoples, sometimes are resistant to any kind of critique of their mores, of their culture, of their belief, of their religion, because they're not self-confident. And they can't stand the criticism. We've seen this very recently with North Korea when they hacked into Sony's system because a movie was being made about their illustrious leader, and they objected to it. And so they hacked into the Sony system, and they've, at this taping, so far forced Sony not to release the movie out of caution because of threatened violence in theaters. This is a total lack of confidence. Insecure movements and beliefs and religions that try to violently attack criticism simply don't believe enough in themselves. They feel they're vulnerable to examination. They're vulnerable to scrutiny. People who are confident accept scrutiny. And that's why in the US, we're examining what may be excessive police violence at times. We're examining what may be poor police judgment at times. We're examining racial problems in policing. We're examining torture, waterboarding, that we performed on prisoners post 9/11. And no matter what side you take on these issues, we're examining them publicly. We're talking about them. That's a sign of confidence. That's a sign of belief in yourself. Assimilation of immigrants has always been an American strength. I don't think that people would escape lands where they're being persecuted to come to America just to establish a new form of persecution for themselves. So our ability to successfully assimilate immigrants has always strengthened this country. When you believe in conspiracies, you have no power. When you believe that there's something you can't see, but somehow it's controlling events, you have no control, no influence, no power. And so we talk about Wall Street, we talk about the top 1%, we talk about people to whom we want to point. I said to someone once, it seems to me that there are differing opinions on global warming, and you have to listen to both sides to reach reasonable conclusions. And she said to me, you're a climate denier. So I'm part of a conspiratorial group, I guess. I'm not paying dues, but there you have it. I'm a climate denier. I didn't even know the term existed until I got branded as one. So when you believe that behind the scenes people are constantly doing something to you, you take off for the mountains, you build some kind of protective shelter, you store your rifles and your food, and you stay up there until Armageddon. I personally don't believe that people are conspiring against us. Victimization and the belief that you are a victim is neither a successful career nor a rational lifestyle. You're not a victim. You can make yourself a victim. You can exacerbate those issues that you think make you a victim. You can listen to people who want to make you a victim because they profit from it. But you needn't be one if you choose not to be one. We should never take for granted how fortunate we are. That's why I started out by saying we tend to take freedom and liberty in a very blasé way. Now, you might not agree with everything I've just told you. I expect a lot of you don't. But think about some of it and whether or not it's helpful for you to examine. That's confident. Getting upset with me and writing letters and threatening, that's not confident. You know, I've been putting out the Monday morning memo for years, just as I do writing on the wall. Monday morning memo is weekly. And a guy actually wrote me and said, it's free like this. I've loved the Monday morning memo, but what you did last week I disagree with so much, I'm canceling my subscription. He canceled his subscription to a free newsletter because he agreed with me for all those other weeks, and the one week he didn't, he couldn't bear to read me ever again. That's a really insecure guy. He's making himself a victim. Don't you go there.